They say life doesn't warn you before the storm hits. For Liam, the storm came quietly, like a whisper that grew into a roar. He was sitting by his small apartment window, staring at a half-written resignation letter. His job, once a symbol of pride, now felt like a chain. The bills were piling up, his mother's health was declining, and his once unshakable confidence was slipping through his fingers. Every morning, he woke up with the same thought: what's the point anymore? He had done everything right. Studied hard. Worked late. Stayed honest. But life still hit him hard. One night, after another rejection email and a call from the hospital about his mother's condition, Liam finally broke down. Tears he'd held in for months came rushing out. He looked at himself in the mirror and whispered, "Why me? What did I do wrong?" But the mirror didn't answer. It only reflected a tired man who had lost his spark. That night, he walked outside under the cold rain, no umbrella, no direction, just pain guiding his steps. He sat on an empty bench and watched the city lights blur through his tears. For the first time, he admitted what he was truly afraid of, that maybe his life would never get better. And yet, in that silence, something stirred inside him, a faint thought, almost like a whisper. What if this pain is not punishment, but preparation? He didn't know it yet, but that single thought would change everything. The next morning, Liam made a decision. He wouldn't quit, not yet. He didn't know what better looked like, but he knew he had to start somewhere. He began small. He woke up early, even when he didn't feel like it. He took his mother to her appointments without complaining. He forced himself to apply for one more job, even when rejection felt inevitable. But progress was slow. Painfully slow. Every day felt like climbing a mountain barefoot. He'd take one step forward, then life would push him 3 steps back. One evening, after another failed interview, he sat at the bus stop feeling defeated. Beside him was an older man, humming softly to himself. After a few minutes, the man said, "You look like someone fighting an invisible war." Liam smiled bitterly. "Feels like I'm losing it, too." The man chuckled. "Maybe you're not losing. Maybe you're learning." That line hit Liam like thunder. The man continued, "Life tests us to teach us. The same fire that melts wax, hardens clay. It depends on what you're made of." Those words stayed with Liam for days. Maybe pain wasn't meant to destroy him, but to shape him. He started journaling. Writing down every struggle, every lesson, every little victory. He began reading stories of people who had been through worse and still rose again. Slowly, his mindset began to shift from "why me?" to "what is this teaching me?" Still, the road was rough. He had days when he wanted to give up again. But something had changed. He had begun to understand his pain, not fear it. Sometimes, he wrote in his journal, "You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep going." Just when Liam started finding peace, life struck again. His mother's condition worsened. The hospital bills doubled. And then, his landlord gave him notice to vacate. It felt like the universe had turned against him. One night, as he sat in the dark, he screamed into the silence, "I'm trying. Isn't that enough?" But again, no answer came. He packed his things with trembling hands and moved into a friend's spare room. Every night, he stared at the ceiling, fighting off the heavy feeling that maybe this was his fate, a cycle of trying, losing, and starting over. Then one morning, his mother's nurse told him something that broke him, yet healed him, too. "She talks about you all the time, you know? Says she's proud of you for not giving up." Those words shattered something inside him. All this time, he thought he was failing her, but she saw strength in him. That day, he sat by her bedside and said, "Mom, I don't know if I'll ever make it big, but I promise I'll make this pain worth something." And that became his purpose. He started volunteering at a local youth center, mentoring young men who were lost like he once was. He began sharing his story online, the failures, the heartbreak, the lessons. People started reaching out, saying his words gave them hope. Maybe your pain is the very story someone else needs to survive theirs. He began to understand, his tests had become his testimony. Months passed. Liam's mother stabilized. His online community grew. And then, out of nowhere, a brand reached out, offering him a partnership to speak about resilience and hope. He hesitated. Why me? He thought again. Then he remembered that's the same question he once asked in pain. But now, it meant something different. Not why is this happening to me, but why was I chosen for this purpose? On the day of his first event, he stood in front of a small crowd, heart pounding, palms sweaty. He looked at the faces staring back at him, people searching for hope the same way he once did. He smiled and said, "Life will test you again and again. You'll fall, you'll break, you'll cry. But every pain you face is shaping something in you: patience, strength, faith. You're not being punished. You're being prepared." As he spoke, the words didn't just come from his mouth, they came from his scars. He realized the pain he once cursed had become the reason he could now heal others. After the event, he walked outside, took a deep breath, and looked up at the sky. For the first time in years, he felt at peace. Because he understood life's trials had never been meant to destroy him. They were building him for something greater. Sometimes, he thought, you have to be broken to be rebuilt stronger. Life is full of trials and tests, but every pain has a purpose. If you're going through a storm right now, don't let it convince you that you're lost. You're being shaped, refined, prepared. Your pain will one day speak for you if you let it teach you. So keep moving. Keep believing. And when your story finally turns, you'll understand nothing you went through was wasted. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because someone out there needs this message too.